Hello and welcome back to Good Game Nation, where we bring you all things TCG. My name's Preston. Today is our purple color review for EB-01, the Memorial Collection. We've gone through all of the colors up to this point. Check them out. We talked about red, green, and blue already. We're talking about purple today, and this is hard for me to say because I hate on purple so frequently, and I hate on it because I really wish it was cohesive and it wasn't just the throwaway color. Time and time again, purple gets the worst of everything and ends up being its own archetype every time, while black has like, 4 sets that for the most part you can play some part together, so every set is building on itself, while purple ends up being a new one every single set. And if they just had some solid foundation, we could actually get something good out of purple. But I think Bandai's afraid of giving ramp too much power, and we can see that with Purple Luffy. Purple Luffy pulled all of the good cards into itself and ended up being a really decent deck, higher tier than I think I initially assumed it would be based off of the cards that came around it. And I think that is super exciting for this because this is what should have happened in every set. We get Water 7 characters that help improve the Water 7 deck. God forbid there's a actual good Water 7 leader. If we get a Frankie or even a Purple Luffy with that W7 characteristic, my goodness, are we going to have a disgusting deck on our hands. We also get some Baroque Works that is pretty nice. We got an Impel down, Jailer Beast, and some good event cards, and probably the best secret that we've ever gotten, and probably the best purple card that's ever been printed. I've gushed enough. Let's get into details. This Khalifa, for very little, gets 2 cards of 4 cost back to your hand. It doesn't say specifically that it has to be Water 7 cards that come back to your hand, just 4 or less, 2 cards of 4 or less to your hand if your leader is Water 7. So Iceberg's your leader. That's pretty good. 2 cards coming from your trash to be able to get some 2K counters that are 4 or less. That's an incredible idea that I think could be usable. And then we have the Bruno, that is a -1 that if your leader's Water 7, trash a card from your hand, and play up to 1 card that you play 1 card that's Water 7 that's 5 or less from your hand or trash for 1 card out of your hand and a -1 Dawn, if I'm remembering that correctly. And it could just be a -1 Dawn. I'm seeing differences in the Discord translation from months ago and the one here. So at a -1 you get to play a 5 or less. So if that's the same as your leader ability, you're getting 2 5-cost cards on your board at the same time, or in that same turn for just 2 Dawn being removed. And the effects in Water 7 are really good. You have some decent ramp. You have Lucci that's going to be resting stuff. You have Polly, which is really good. It ramps and does this and does that. It's a really good card, and we saw it in the Purple Luffy deck because of its superior effect. So we got some really good things. We just need something to help Iceberg suck less, because I think you're still in a really hard spot not being able to attack for this leader. We saw Rebecca do well without it. I think the cards surrounding Rebecca are so much better though. So, and that's the black color. You were able to pull in stuff from the Navy and all over NCP and just make a really good deck for Rebecca. Iceberg didn't get the same love. I think we could have a lot better chances now that people have seen the Luffy build, potentially doing something with Iceberg, and then adding these 2 character cards would be incredible. We're going to move on to Miss Wednesday. does a lot of things. 3-cost character, 4k power, and a 1k counter with blocker. Like all purple Baroque work stuff, it activates on your opponent's turn when they're attacking. And if your leader has the characteristics of Baroque works, you get to ramp. So a blocker that on your opponent's turn gets to ramp. If you're playing that with your leader, your -1 gets balanced out with your leader, and then you get to actually gain 1. I think it's quite a nice card, including blocker. I haven't played the purple-yellow crocodile, but I feel like this is a really good fit for it. And we have another character here, Miss Monday, talking about all the days of the week here, that I think has some opportunities as well. Has a trigger that makes it that plays it, which is nice, basically for free if your leader is crocodile. And then if your leader has a Baroque works, your leader or up to one of your characters gets 1,000 during this turn. Really interestingly, could happen on your opponent's turn, so you give your leader that extra boost, kind of like what we get from other purple Eustace characters. But I think they're good and they have some potential. I don't like Mr. 9. I don't think it has the same like illustrious movement that the rest of these cards have. It's much less exciting. But I want to know from people that play Crocodile, is this actually a good card because it has that KO potential? Or is it just something that you're not going to use? Because I could see that if it's lacking KO potential and cards that say KO if you do a thing or whatever, then this card could be good. And since its effect is activating on your opponent's side of the field, on their attack, you could potentially KO an attacking character before they get a chance to, so an active character. But it just doesn't feel like it has the excitement when you could be playing yellow characters that have so much more excitement around them in that crocodile deck. Moving on to events, we have a -1 at a cost of 1. If your leader is Baroque works, your characters choose one of getting tongue-tied trying to speak quickly. Okay. When your opponent attacks, Don -1 in the counter phase, change the target to the selected character. So it's kind of like you're activating this as a blocker, so you can send it into something. I would really like to look into the rules and FAQs to see if you can send it into an active character and the attack fizzles, or if it has to be a rested character. And even if it's a rested character, if you send it into a rested character that's stronger, then it doesn't matter and that attack ends anyway. So it's a really interesting cost 1 event that's a -1 that really doesn't matter too much. This is a 5-cost Don -1 KO up to one of your opponent's characters with 8 or less and a trigger that is add 1 Don. We love ramping cards even when they're on the triggers. A 5-cost that kills 8 or less seems really good. I would have to look at more KO cards in purple to see if there's something that fits better for that cost value, or if you just have characters that do this and then you have a character on board. That's my preference in this game, is to have a character on board after. And now we get to the best card that has ever been printed in purple. On play, ramp, incredible. It has no restrictions, so every purple deck is going to play this. And then, when attacking, select up to one of your opponent's characters. This character's original power becomes the same power as the selected character during this turn. That is an incredible effect. Being able to select one of your opponent's characters, and let's say it's the end of the game and they have Whitebeard or something like that on board, you turn your 4-cost 1k attacker into a 4-cost 10k plus, depending on what your opponent has. That's crazy in my mind. It's absolutely insane to think that you can pick anything on the board. Even if you're choosing something that is like a 7k, 8k towards the end of the game, a lot of characters end up being that big at the end. being able to swing this at your opponent's leader and then just picking the strongest character on the board is quite incredible. And on top of that, the turn before that, it gave them an active Dawn. And then they shamelessly put the Nami Bon Clay transformation from Impel Down on the alt art, because why not make this card worth more than it needed to be because of cute alt art. In general, I usually like to crap on purple. I'm really excited about the character cards that came out of this. I think it gives a lot of potential to old purple decks, as well as there's a few cards that should be in everything, or that are going to see a lot more play. I think that event card, the Bon Clay event card, has a lot of potential depending on how it's rolled. And then the Bon Clay character card is probably the best purple card that's ever been printed. Possibly one of the best cards ever. A little exaggeration there, but really excited to see what this color, like this set, does for purple, because I think this was probably the best color of the set. It's not hands down the best, but I feel like it is the top of this booster, which usually isn't the case. If you like this video, hit that thumbs up. If you want to get more One Piece TCG content, hit that subscribe. And until next time, peace.